Hello everyone, today will be an introduction to Rhino 5.0, helping you become familiar with the interface and navigation tools. When you open Rhino, your screen opens to four main viewports. There's your top view, perspective view, right view, and front view. These four views work together to show you the elevations and plan of your model and the 3D view simultaneously. This should look familiar to you from the axonometric drafting assignment completed earlier this semester. If you manipulate the geometry in one viewport, you can see it change in each of the corresponding views. The red, green, and blue lines are your construction planes. Red is the x-axis, green is your y-axis, and blue is z. You can expand a viewport by double-clicking the label, and vice versa. To change the view, click the arrow by the label to get a drop-down menu of options. Another option you'll see in the drop-down menu are the different display modes. Wireframe shows the outline of your geometry, Shaded shows it as a solid, and Ghosted incorporates a level of transparency. The rendered view gives a rough idea of what materials would look like if you have them applied. Though the many different tabs, menus, and toolbars can be overwhelming, remember that there's a lot of redundancy in Rhino, and there are several ways to do any one thing. As such, everyone uses Rhino differently and customizes their own repertoire of favorite commands to accomplish what they need. Along the top, you have a drop-down menu with listed commands. This is also where you will find the menu for different plugins and renderers that can be added to Rhino. Many of the simpler drop-down menus with common commands can also be found under the tabs with a diagram that explains how the tool works. For example, the drawing of the circle with the points, as well as the name when I hover over the tool, tells me exactly what the command prompt will ask me to determine first the center and then the radius of a circle. Along the side is your toolbar. To add to the expansive number of commands, many of the original commands have related options that you can access by click and holding or by clicking the triangle in the bottom right corner. These little pop-out menus can be pulled out and kept open on your screen for easy access. Like AutoCAD, Rhino has a command bar that accelerates how efficiently you can work within the software. Many of the commands are similar, but not quite the same as AutoCAD, so be sure to keep an eye on the command bar as you work. You can modify the Rhino keyboard shortcuts so that they match the AutoCAD exactly. Google this to get instructions for your make, Windows or Mac, and the version of Rhino. On the right side of your screen is a series of panels. This is where you can find your Layers panel. You all should be comfortable with how to use layers by now. As in other programs, you can nest layers within each other, toggle a lock and a visibility icon, and change the color of the geometry on that layer. You can also apply materials to be seen in rendered display mode. The Properties panel is also found here, which gives you more information about your geometry and access to change some settings, such as whether or not to show isocurves. You can also right-click along the top and choose other panels to open here. I find it helpful to keep my named views open, which is where I can save specific views to return to at any time by creating new, and then simply clicking on the thumbnail to return to that view. You'll notice the name of the viewport has changed, since that is the view you selected. You can also activate this view by double-clicking on the name of the viewport and selecting it from the list. In terms of navigating, you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, keeping in mind that the program zooms towards whatever your mouse is, which can be a great way to navigate in and of itself. If you hold down the left mouse button, you can orbit around your model in perspective view. If you hold down Shift while doing so, the cursor changes to a hand, and you can pan. In non-3D views, just holding the left mouse button pans. If you type in zoom, various options become available to quickly change your window. ZS is the keyboard shortcut for zoom selected objects. One benefit of using the ZS command is that it recenters your orbit. So now when you hold the left mouse button and move side to side, you will rotate about the center of the selected object. ZE is the code for zoom extents, which will fit your whole model in the viewport. You can also choose to zoom all of the viewports or just the one you're currently working in. If you type zoom and then all, or choose extents or selected, all 4 of your viewports will jump to zoom to that amount. Another great tool is the dolly zoom, which you can type into your command bar to get a zoom that simultaneously changes the camera location and the lens length. The left mouse button is reserved for selecting, and like in similar programs, selecting left to right will select only objects that fit entirely into the selection window, and right to left will select any geometry with even a portion in the selection, which is known as a crossing window. Clicking the wheel on your mouse brings up a shortcut menu. Here, as well as in the toolbar or using the command prompt, you can choose to hide or show geometry, which can be crucial to set up views or work within or behind a surface, for example. Along the bottom of your screen are several useful options to toggle. Grid snap is essentially an object snap to the intervals of the grid. Ortho mode is the same as in AutoCAD and locks your drawing to the cardinal directions. O-snap is your object snaps that you can check on and off to help increase the precision of your model, which is incredibly important for laser cutting, 3D printing, and even using geometry commands like split, join, boolean, and several others that won't work if your geometry isn't constructed properly. I recommend turning on the Smart Track as well, which infers where you may want lines in geometry to go based on tangents, perpendiculars, and other relationships to your existing model. The gumball is also a wonderful tool that allows you to drag, rotate, and stretch objects and groups along the XYZ axis. Be careful using this though, as simply dragging is not as precise as using move or rotate tools with O-snaps for exactness. Also along the bottom is the filter tool, which allows you to filter your selection based on the type of geometry it is. That is the basic introduction to Rhino 5 interface. One of the best things about Rhino is that you can simply type in the command line and it will give you a list of related commands. If you don't know where to find a button or tool, the command line may be the best place to start. A list of commonly used commands has also been made available to you on Colab.